es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goles during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans, wherever you may be, and all you soccer fans. Hey, man, y'all have a home here too. We have missed y'all. It is long overdue. We've been away for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and it's been too long. And on today's episode, we'll be talking Matheus Nascimento coming back to the LA Galaxy on loan, the departure of defender Zanka from the Galaxy after just 1 year, which players were named to the U.S. National Team Players of the Year, Inter Miami getting even stronger as they re-sign a playoff hero and look set to add another DP, the Galaxy's official preseason game schedule, and who LA will look to bring in to replace Riqui Puig. We'll be joined by the COC Network's Dylan Altman, who will join us to break everything down. Plus, some former G's have started to make moves, while one former favorite has crossed the aisle. All that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. But before we go any further, we want to say hello. I am one of your co-hosts, and you can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune. Hi, my name is Rob Halon, and you can find me right there at El Escudero de LA online, just in case you are wondering. And the guy right next to me, as usual, writing out the end of season 3, and I promise we'll get to season 4 soon. And damn, we heard the season 4 intro music. We heard snippets, and it is fire. Shout out Arquitekto Verbal. The guy right next to me, as usual, El Papá de Natita, El Gitano Perdido, back at you. Anandita Kirana. Papa, it's been too long, man.
It's been too long, man. It's been too long. But just first of all, super excited to be back. It feels weird to be in the chair again and with the hot mics like on. And last time I did this, like it was 6 a.m. in Spain. So I'm just glad I'm like in normal time now. My jet lag's over. I'm back stateside. I'm back from the other land. So anyways, man, just good to be back here. Good to be back with everyone in chat. So saying what's up to you guys, and hopefully you guys are having a fantastic Monday already, Papa. Our community showing us love. Cool Will 20 with the super chat. He says, good evening, here in LA for my vacation before heading back to Sacramento up north. Well, welcome. And yeah, and hopefully you are having a very good time here. Cool Will. But yeah, man, by the way, this is like summer weather. It feels like summer
Really?
in the middle of January. Like it's super hot and dry where I am. It does get cold in the evenings, but bro, like I could have literally gone to the beach today, like literally.
Well, but enjoy it while it lasts, because tomorrow it's gonna be like 77, and the rest of the week, what starts to get cold again. But we have tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to Don Favi, who we're gonna have on pretty soon on this podcast. So shout out Favi, wherever you are. Actually, I know exactly where he is. He's in the middle of like snowstorms in New York, so you know it could be worse. Could be worse. I dealt with that for years, so yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I know the Don's out there wearing his puffy jacket and holding it down over there on the East Coast, spreading the good word. So yeah, you're right, man. I mean, we're gonna have Don Favi on here pretty soon. We're gonna have Dylan on, who it's first time with us, so super excited about that. I mean, on Thursday, teaser here, we're gonna have an old favorite that we love having on. One of Ananda's favorites for sure. Gets all flustered. It's cute. Anyway, but the way you're gonna know that we have those guests on is if you subscribe to this podcast. And I know a lot of you already subscribed. Do us a favor, if you have subscribed, go ahead and tell somebody you love, like, hey, check out this podcast. You might dig it. If you're here and you haven't subscribed, we would appreciate it. Hook up that subscribe or that like. And Ananda, like I always promise, will take a shot with you. It will be lovely. It will be the best of times. But anyway, you guys already saw that. You guys can dip in here and hit up those super chats. And if you got to get something off your chest, if you have something pressing to say, go ahead and dip into those super chats. Ananda, anything else to add?
You did most of the housekeeping, so all I got to say is you could always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. You can follow us on all of your socials. The handle is the name of the show, La Cuna Galaxiana. Pretty simple there as well. And as Rob said, go ahead, guys, on your way in or on your way out, make sure to hit that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. We'd love you forever for it. And I guess, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. By the way, I'm testing a little like a different view here, guys. So if this view is cool, or if this view, whatever, if you want to get a little zoom in, I'm just going to play it around with that. If you don't like seeing our faces, well, there's always the audio version of the pod, which we are available on Spotify and Apple.
Yeah, don't forget, y'all. I mean, if you're just like, man, I can't look at these guys, go ahead and hit up the audio version. It's there.
Accept it. Yeah, I accept it. Anyways, shall we get going here?
Yeah, but if you can stand to watch us, we hung out with the homies at Goals TV, Big Bro Migo, once again, and we were on what would we even call it, like the premiere show, like I don't know, like, anyway, if you think of the premiership, the past couple of times we've been on, it's been Premier League content, and just especially if you're a Manchester United fan, we've talked a lot of Manchester United. If you're an Arsenal fan, we've talked to Arsenal as well. So go ahead and check that out at Goals TV for fans of the Premier League for sure. And then we are always doing our guest spots, our regular guest spots at Soccer in 60. So shout out to those boys as well. Ananda, it is Martin Luther King Day. I want to take a moment to recognize. I probably wouldn't have recognized with this quote, actually, but I just kind of would have left it alone. But anyway, happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody. I mean, it's monumental, the gains that this man made for the civil rights movement. So anyway, take a moment to reflect on that, if you will, good people. Happy birthday as well to Steve Sampson. He coached the LA Galaxy to the 2005 U.S. Open Cup and MLS Cup championships, and he was part of the Galaxy's history as coach for 2 years. Happy birthday as well to Big Tucker Lepley. Everybody that listens to this podcast knows that we have a big affection for Tucker. I always say this man's a dog. He has a huge engine there in the midfield, and yeah, hopefully this year is the year that we see Tucker break out. Feliz cumpleaños a los dos. Hopefully they were surrounded by friends and family. Happy upcoming 121 day to all ACBers. Man, this is a day to celebrate for you guys, and we want to go ahead and celebrate you guys and call this out for you guys. 121 is actually on Wednesday, but ACB will be celebrating on Sunday, January 25th from 1 to 5 at SoCal Vibes in Gardena, California. So if you are in that supporter group, go ahead and show out and show some love. Congratulations, ACB, for another year. 121, yay! The Galaxy have dropped another series here. They've already dropped Kobe's podcast, but now, speaking of Kobe, they are dropping another series here called Carving an Icon. And Carving an Icon is a series that takes fans behind the scenes of the creation of Kobe's statue. So, everyone likes the behind the scenes. So you get kind of like a behind the look, intimate look at the artistry, craftsmanship, what the artists go through, inspiration, trying to capture the essence of one of the most legendary players in U.S. men's national team and Galaxy history. So I look forward to watching the rest of the series. And the first episode premiered on January 14th, and new installments will be scheduled to be released monthly. Go ahead and catch that here. And speaking of U.S. men's national team legends and legends in general here, the U.S. national team, the U.S. Soccer Federation, named their players of the year. Roosevelt, baller, voted the soccer female player of the year, and then defender Real has been voted U.S. soccer young female player of the year. Both of them helped lead Gotham FC to the 2025 NWSL championship. Congratulations to those ladies, both of them. Roosevelt's always like, man, she's been one of my favorite players on the women's team for a cool minute, man. Just a class player. And here's where I don't know. I felt some kind of way about this, Ananda. So defender Chris Richards has been voted the 2025 U.S. Soccer Male Player of the Year by U.S. Soccer. Richards has become a staple in the English Premier League with Crystal Palace, and he's a regular starter, and he also played the full 90 minutes in both domestic trophy wins, the FA Cup and the Community Shield, both huge wins for his team. The issue here is that should he have won this award, Ananda? I mean, I'm not really one usually to come to Christian Pulisic's cheerleading squad, but the man had a great 2025. I mean, if you look at the numbers, 18 goals, 6 assists in 43 matches. I mean, and he was injured for a couple of matches. So imagine what he could have done with the rest. Of course, Richards was one of the most standout defenders in the Premier League. I mean, he is in the higher percentiles in a lot of defending stats here, especially tackles, 2.18, 92nd percentile. And of course, like I mentioned, he played every minute of that cup run, which he was instrumental in picking it up. So I don't know. I guess I got to put it to you guys, chat. Should Richards have won this award over Christian Pulisic? I'll leave it up to you guys. Ananda, really quick, what do you think? I mean, is it enough what Richards did to take this award from Christian Pulisic, or is it time for some new blood and to recognize somebody new?
I don't know. I'll probably just base off of familiarity because I have Chris Richards on my fantasy FPL team and I watch Crystal Palace, a lot of Crystal Palace. Bro, he's been their best defender, like full stop. I think he's been Palace's best defender. He's been really good for them. Palace has been struggling as a team this year. Just a lot of chopping and changing. Mateta hasn't been the same striker as last year. Obviously, they've lost Eze, but Chris Richards has taken a big leap this year. So I'm not mad at it, to be honest. He's been really good. I think he is arguably the most valuable player for the U.S. men's national team. I mean, he's been that good this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was curious. I mean, I immediately thought, hey, should Christian Pulisic be in this conversation? But you seem to think that they got it right, and our guest seems to think that they got it right as well. Well, we'll talk to him about that kind of stuff here in a moment. The young player of the year went to Benji Kramashi. He was the 2025 U.S. Soccer Young Male Player of the Year. Of course, he captained the U.S. U20 men's national team to the quarterfinals of the 2025 FIFA U20 World Cup. And he also became the second U.S. player to claim the Golden Boot as he became the leading scorer in the tournament. He's on loan right now with Parma from Inter Miami. And speaking of Inter Miami, this is maybe going to be a spicy meatball here. I know people feel some kind of way about all this stuff, Ananda. Um, Inter Miami announced today, actually, that they re-signed Tadeo Allende. He's officially resigned on a permanent deal from Celta Vigo. What's crazy about this one is that it is a non-DP deal, Ananda. So if you remember, he spent last year on loan, and then he balled out in the postseason with a record 9 goals. I mean, yes, Messi is Messi, but Allende's 9 goals are huge en route to that championship. So the rich keep getting richer, and as if it wasn't enough, it seems like Miami is also in the process of finalizing a deal to sign forward Germán Bertareme from CF Monterrey, who would be their third and final DP. It seems like they are in the final stages of signing the Mexican international turned Argentino turned Mexican international. This is a reported 15 million fee by the Stash, Tommy Bogart. Final details are still to be worked out, though, between Bertareme and all these the clubs involved. Of note, Ananda, is that Bertareme has actually had his release clause triggered twice by MLS clubs, and they haven't been able to get a deal with him, a personal deal or personal terms, over the line. So remains to be seen if Miami actually does so, but my money's on that they do. So it looks like they are going to be mega stacked next year. People, again, have feelings about this one. People go, how do they do it? 10 DPs and, 5 TAM players. But I mean, I mean, you got to think that they're being heavily scrutinized. So, props to them. I mean, they're doing it. I mean, if the Galaxy were doing it, everybody in Galaxylandia would be absolutely ecstatic. So, whoever's getting that team together, whoever's pulling the strings over there, props to you. Switching gears here really quick. FIFA released their latest ranking. The top 5 are Spain, Argentina, France, England, and Brazil. The USA came in 15th place, followed by Mexico in 16th. And just because, your boy is Ecuadorian, Ecuador is in 23rd place. One of its highest rankings, I believe, in its history. So congratulations to all those teams. Then we get into some Galaxy-centric news here, guys. If you are a golfer, and I know there are G's out there that do golf, shout out the Quasar Golf Club. The LA Galaxy Foundation Golf Tournament is happening at Desert Willow Golf Resort on February 6th in the Coachella Valley. So if you need more information on this one, check out lagalaxy.com/golf and go ahead and play a couple of rounds with your favorite Galaxy players. And speaking of favorite Galaxy players, we will, and when I say we, the press corps, we will have our first opportunity to speak to Greg and Will and some of these players this season on the 21st and on it. So I'm super excited. I mean, I'm definitely going to be out there. The team's been in training camp since the 10th, so they've already been putting in some good paces. So it'll be, fun to see what they've done and what they intend to do. I mean, hopefully we get to ask Will, like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, what are you gonna bring in? Hopefully we hit him with the good questions, right? So speaking of, let me know what you think we should ask Will, or the players, guys. Go ahead and drop it in chat. Not saying we'll ask. I'm just kind of curious what you would ask. Anyway,
what happened to Riqui? That's basically going to be the first question. We all know that.
Yes, everybody's going to prop up, and then Damien or Scott's going to be like, "What happened to Riqui?" And we're all just going to be like,
"Yep,"
listening to Will for a bit. But yes, hopefully that is one of the questions that we get answered. Since the Galaxy is already in training camp, it is preseason, y'all, and today they released their full preseason schedule. They have 3 closed door scrimmages before the CVI. So between now and the CVI, they have 3 closed-door scrimmages. First, against Portland Timbers on Friday, January 23rd. Then against DC United on Saturday, January 31st. And then against Orange County Soccer Club on Wednesday, February 4th. Then the tournament you know and you love, the Galaxy, then begin their CVI participation on Sunday, February 8th versus the Chicago Fire. And then they wrap up the games available to the public anyway on Wednesday, February 11th versus St. Louis. They do play a closed-door match against Real Salt Lake at the CVI on Friday, February 13th, which will be 6 days just before the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And speaking of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, just a reminder, the Galaxy do kick off their season on Thursday, February 19th in Panama at 5 p.m. against Sporting San Miguelito in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And then the return leg is Wednesday, February 25th at the Digs at 8 p.m. And as I keep on mentioning, the beginning of the season, y'all, is going to be a mother because the Galaxy will have 4 games in 9 days. If you're now joining us just now, we want to say thank you. We appreciate it. And I feel like it's a good time to remind you, that like sometimes we get lucky and we get really, really awesome guests like this man we're about to bring on. But you're only going to know when these guests are on if you hit the subscribe button. Ding. Go ahead and just hit that, and then you'll know. But anyway, and on to anything else to add before we bring on the reason, really everyone's here?
No, I just need to like record that little ding sound effect, and I'll put it in the soundboard, and that was class.
Nice. I like it. Go ahead. I'll let you license that. Go ahead.
Class.
Ringtone or something, whatever. All right.
My BlackBerry.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Let's get it. All
right, let's get
stop waffling here.
Yeah, no, let's stop waffling for sure, because we have this man to talk to here. So he is the host of the COC network, that is Clash of Clubs and Clash of Cosmos. Please welcome to the show for the very first time, and we do appreciate it, Dylan Altman.
First time.
Yo, what's
up,
going
man?
on? That was the best intro ever. I don't think people really realize the effort that goes into that. And you guys have the best intro in all of the Galaxy podcast sphere. It's really fantastic.
Hey.
And that intro to get me into the show, couldn't have done that better. That was amazing. So
Man, you were earning this money that we're gonna pay you after.
Yeah, exactly.
Heck yeah.
that fat check's coming in the mail tomorrow, Baba.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's Howard Webbing it right now for sure.
Hey.
Yeah.
Michael Olivering it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, welcome. We appreciate
Saudi
it, man.
money.
It's long overdue. I know you and I. You and I. Sorry about that. Anana needs to take a shot now. I know
Water.
we both
Thank you.
spoke
Salud.
last season. Wow, it feels like forever ago. Like saying last season, that you should drop by, and then the season got away from us, but we're super glad you're here now. We do appreciate it. And we just kind of name dropped last season, so I'm kind of curious. The season is now done and over with. We've seen Galaxy make a couple moves so far. How about you give us your one-word reaction to the LA Galaxy offseason transfer window so far?
Optimistic is the word I'm going to go with, because that's how I'm feeling. I know that the Riqui injury has a lot of people down, and trust me, I'm down too. But the Galaxy made great additions, and especially in areas where I thought we were weakest. The center back spot has been the weakest position, I think, maybe across the league for a little bit now, over the tenure of Greg Vanney. Like, I know Maya Yoshida kind of carried the water for a little bit. We brought in Garces. But last season, it was so awful to watch this team defensively that bringing in 2 of the best center backs in the league and one that can be a really versatile defender in either the 6 or as a center back leaves me with a lot of hope that Greg Vanney can prove to everybody that he's one of the best managers in the league. So optimistic is the word I'm going with.
I like optimistic, and you just kind of talked about that versatility, and we will talk to you about that a little bit later. There was a video that you dropped that we want to talk about in just a little bit. But before we go any further, I háblame de ti. Let's talk about you. Come on, man. Like, you know, this first time here, I'm curious, you know, like, so we play a couple games here, man.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, you know, helps us, you know, like learn a little bit more about you.
Sure.
And this one's called I Used to Love Her. And it's basically like your LA Galaxy love story, right? Like the moment you fell in love with the LA Galaxy. You know what? I'm gonna tell you an anecdote about La Toxica here in a second, Ananda. But let's go ahead and give Dylan the floor here. When did you fall in love with the LA Galaxy?
I fell in love playing ASO and seeing Landon Donovan's beautiful receding hairline that I also sport right underneath this beanie on all of the AYSO propaganda. And I was like, this guy, who's this guy? He's balding, but I like him. He's got something to him, something that I've learned in this portion of my life that I probably shouldn't have been harping on him as much. But I fell in love then, and I went to a couple of games at, I think it was Home Depot Center at the time. And I fell in love even further. Like there was just a bunch of characters that I thought were energetic and fun. And it was right during the kit change. And I was right before the Beckham stage. So I can say that I was right there just before Beckham came in and kind of made everyone a bandwagon. But that's how I fell in love. I just thought the team was awesome. They always beat the crap out of Chivas, which was great. And I always got to just be in the stadium to like kind of rag on them. And as a kid, you know, you're just dumb and stupid. And that was a great rivalry at the time because we always just beat them up. It was nice being the winners all the time. So for a guy that was an Angels fan and, you know, at the time where I was like, this is the worst. My team is awful. Like, you know what I mean? So the Galaxy were my team that really got me into the sport from a domestic standpoint, you know, and I watched United for a long time and I was a big Ronaldo guy. So Beckham coming in helped that story a little bit. And yeah, I just fell in love right away, and I haven't been able to really loosen that grip enough so for me to make a podcast and try to talk about it with my friends. That's how my love story has evolved since then.
Isn't that fun? Like when you find that outlet and you find the homies that are just like, hey, you just want to like shoot the shit and talk about soccer, and then you know if people want to listen, cool. If not, you know, cool too. I mean, like that's kind of how it happened with me and Ananda too, man. So no, that's really fun, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. First off, we're gonna play a second game here, but before we do, I just want to share with you, Ananda, that really quickly the anecdote that I was going to tell you that everybody says, you know, like Galaxy's like toxica, and you know, so I was expressing to my mom the other day that it was another season of me covering La Toxica, and my mom goes, "Tóxico tú por seguir el equipo," and I was like, "Dang, dropping knowledge." Basically, like Dylan, she said, like, "Nah, you're the toxic one because you're still there. You keep following the team." I was like, "Dang, dropping knowledge, mom." But anyway, you already spoke about this guy, so. This game is called Word Association. Okay. And basically the way it works is I give you a name, and then you can just get the way it works is you just give me like the very first thing that pops into your head. Okay. So it's got to be instantaneous. I'm going to give you some controversial ones. So, you know, you get one pass. You get just one hard pass where you're like, ooh, I better not say. So you know we'll start it off easy, and like I said, you've already name dropped this guy. So, Sir David Beckham,
love everything about him. The controversy that's coming out with him and his son today. I don't want to get into that. I don't want that to taint my vision on what he is. I'm just going to completely ignore that. That's love is the word.
Yeah. I mean, you just think about the Fergie years, man, and you're just like, oh man, I love that guy. All right, well, maybe you'll feel differently about this next gentleman, Chris Klein.
Mixed feelings, because there were good times, there were bad times, and there were the worst of times, and we got all of them under him. And yeah, I'm gonna stick with that because I don't want to get into the dangerous portions of where my dark thoughts lie. But
Yeah,
the good, the bad, the ugly.
that is a lacuna after dark on your second time back, and then we can just be petty all day.
Yeah, if you want the darkness, go ahead and listen to the back catalog, 2023 episodes, guys. That's where you listen. That's where you'll get our unfiltered thoughts on Chris Klein.
Exactly. And speaking of, word to the wise, before we get off the rails here and go heavily in on people and stuff like that, let's go ahead and bring up the super chat here by Crazy Brain, and says, we point fingers at players, but what improvements can there be to our supporter section to be more legit? STM here, but one drum don't do it for me. Talk amongst yourselves, y'all. You know what? It starts with you guys. It starts with the Galaxy community. I mean, I know you guys are passionate, so it starts with you guys. But yeah, thanks, Crazy Brain, for calling that out. I mean, I have a couple ideas for LA Galaxy supporter chants. So come at me if you guys want them. Let me know. But anyway, the next one we're bringing up here is Mr. Kobe Jones.
Legend, immortalized, statue, a lot of different words there, but just before my time of really watching him play and understanding it, I was very young at the time, but everything that he's done as an ambassador for the LA Galaxy is something that I can't understate, especially being a part-time United fan and watching the craziness that unfolds there from their legends every single week. Could you imagine what Kobe Jones could have been saying during some of the dark times for the Galaxy? It could have been very bad and very sour. And I think that AEG and the Galaxy do a really good job of treating their stars as stars. And Kobe Jones is one of these stars of the US Federation and just the Galaxy in general. And so everything that he says is always positive. And I think he just has a really good balance of understanding what it is to be an ambassador for a club, especially one of this size and magnitude. Like, they're a world leader in terms of US stature of soccer. So,
yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, Kobe, like you said, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is just sort of positive. I remember a couple years ago, it was like 5 years ago, I went to a mentorship forum, and Kobe Jones is there talking about how young black and brown folk, it's not enough to want to be coaches and you know, like general managers. We need to be owners and investors in these teams as well. And man, just the way he was talking about access and representation even back then. Shout out Kobe Jones. Let's go to the next one. One of his teammates. You might know him as the current LA Galaxy head coach, aka Gregorio Vanney.
Expecting more. Like I said, he is one of the MLS great managers, and he's proven that through multiple different clubs now. And his time in Toronto kind of cemented his legacy, but then the 2024 was just the cherry on top. But I expect more. And maybe that's just a place of him getting us to a championship and finally winning it. But the overall tenure here at the Galaxy, while it has uplifted the floor of the structure of the club, it hasn't necessarily led to the end product being where I'd like it to be. I look at teams around the league and coaches that I just don't think are really on the same level as him who have had more success year over year. And I love Riqui Puig, and I think he's one of the greatest players our club has ever had, but you can't be that reliant on one player in particular for me to feel that strongly about your tenure if everything comes down to that one guy, especially when I think the talent that's been here, especially attacking wise, is way good enough to compete on a year-to-year level.
Yep. Well said.
Yeah, no arguments there. One of the guys that was here for one of Greg Vanney's lowest points, and we'll talk about here in a moment. Nasci, Matheus Nascimento.
Promising. I'm very high on Nascimento as a player. I think that the floor of his talent is a lot higher than other U22 players that we have. And his integration into the team, while he was hurt in the beginning, and that took a little bit longer for him to kind of get adjusted, he then jumped onto the scene and immediately clicked with the Galaxy's best and brightest attacking midfielder, which is Marco Reus. And if you can connect and play with Marco Reus, You can play with just about anyone, I think, because the IQ level that it takes to play with a legend of the game doesn't come easy to everybody. And it took time for guys like even Paintsel and Peck to really understand this guy's level. Nascimento came in and immediately understood it. And we also just had like an amazing win record with Nascimento compared to without. So I'm very high on him as a player, but I'm concerned that we might be letting him go at some point.
Well, we definitely will. We'll talk about the rumors surrounding him. You mentioned Royce, right? And it was one of the highest points of the season last year when Marco Royce had an extended run in the team. Around him, though, was one man that came into the midfield, not normally a midfielder, but came in and stabilized the midfield with Marco Royce, and that man is Diego Fagundes.
Awesome. I got to speak with him on another podcast a couple weeks ago, and I got to ask him about that switch to the midfield in particular, because he's done that a lot more here than he has at any junction of his career. And the IQ on his shoulders is just amazing. I think that he's a wonderful pro and a great ambassador for the team as well. I'm going to be sad to see him go. I just don't think he takes the pay cut that we need. But I think he is tactically just a stud. And I'd love to see him come back. I just don't think it's realistic.
Yeah. Dieguito, te extrañamos. Vení. Te extrañamos. Hacemos un asadito. Te lo prometo. Vamos. Another guy that, we got the shock of our lives by hearing that he will not be coming this year. Riqui Puig.
Sadness, pain, suffering, all of the above. I said,
all the emo songs.
If you could just put me down a well and just let me sit there for a long, long time, that's where I'd be realistically. I just think that it structurally changes everything. When you set out your entire goals to be like, we'll just wait on this guy, and then we just lose him again for an entire season, I just go like, what are you supposed to do? Like the club you're supposed to take another gap year? Like, and is he going to come back as good? I don't know. It could be the end of the best versions of Riqui Puig, and that sucks because he's special.
Our cheat code's gone, guys.
Isn't it crazy that we might have seen the killer peas for the last time already? Like, we don't know, if Gabriel Peck will be on this team in 2027 or Joseph Paintsel. Who knows if Joseph Paintsel goes to the World Cup and lights it up and he earns himself a nice transfer. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, like, again, savor that 2024 championship, because it could be the very last time that you will have seen the triple the killer peas, but hopefully not. I would love, and honestly, like I need to see them run again together. Of course, there was one man that made it all happen, and there's one man at the wheel right now making it happen for the Galaxy, and hopefully he has a plan to replace Riqui Puig, and that man is, and here's your next name, Dylan, Will Kuntz.
Brilliant. And he's proven that over, again, multiple different tenures at multiple different clubs. Sure. Andrew, one of you guys' friends, our co-host, has been very high on the idea of potentially him taking the Don Garber spot at the very top of the league. And that's kind of where I see it going too. I think this guy is just a brilliant, not only soccer mind, but sports mind. And I think that he's proven that across the Yankees and then into LAFC, now here with the Galaxy. This guy just gets it. You ask him to do complex problems and he gives you complex solutions. And there's not a lot of people that can do that same thing to that level. And I think that he turns it around. And I don't know what's coming here in the pipeline, but you give this guy a DP spot and he's done it. He's 2 for 2 with DP spots. So I fully expect him to go 3 for 3.
Yeah. And he gave us 2 early Christmas presents in the form of Jakob Glesnes and Justin Haak. So there you go. I don't know where you went, Rob, but I will. Oh, there you are.
My camera was acting funny, y'all. I apologize. Damnedest thing. No, I mean, while I was, trying to work on that, I heard as much as I could. But yes, Will Kuntz, brilliant. I agree with you, man. He has a comic book about him for a reason, and I mean the guy is brilliant. Like he's I've already said a couple times, like I stand in awe of the guy. He is absolutely fantastic to talk to, and you can tell that he actually cares, man. I've said a couple times that I usually sit in the press box like all the way to the left, and there's just a wall separating me from Will and his team, and he takes every miss very hard, celebrates every goal with such gusto and passion. He lives and breathes it. But anyway, he's already started with a bang, and he was putting together a masterclass of a window. The very first name he brought in, and this is your next name, Dylan, Jakob Glesnes.
Wall, brick wall. Oh, I'm such a fan of this signing. I didn't even know it was possible. Nobody thought it was possible.
Yeah.
But Philly are the Leonardo DiCaprio of the MLS. They love to get rid of players once they're past that magical age of 30, which apparently is too old now. I don't know when it happened, but it just has. And I think this guy is just a brilliant signing and is going to shore up a lot of the holes in this team. I talked about it in my video. I know we'll talk about it a little later, but I see him being the central center back in a new system and being the anchor that this Galaxy team has needed for a long, long time.
I like that. I like it. We're going to definitely talk about that. The guy that was brought in just after him, Justin Haak. Justin Haak? Yeah, Haak.
Haak.
The real Haak Tua.
the real Haak Tua. John Stones. A 6 in the center back position. His ball progression is amazing. I watched a bunch of clips just to kind of read up on what this guy has done. And coming from a New York City academy, like you're tailor-made to do everything that a Pep Guardiola system will do. They all play the same way across all of their different teams and their structure. So everybody learns to play with the ball. They know how to play with it at their feet. They know how to play in possession. And this guy in a team that was 4th in possession in the entire league, getting a player of this talent on the ball at the center back position is going to absolutely change everything that Greg Vanney wants to do. I think it leans more into the way that Greg Vanney wants to play, and it allows the Galaxy to be flexible for the first time in a long time.
I think the signing kind of saves them a little bit from the fact that, yes, Riqui Puig is out. I mean, they have a lot more options now because this man is there. But, yeah, we're going to dive into that. Ananda, do you want to take us here through these new lads training with the Galaxy first team?
Yeah, I'll take you through the first one. And guys, we found our Riqui Puig replacement. Just kidding. So anyways, this was reported last week, but a player by the name of Arnau Rabassa, who is actually from Spain. He's training with the Galaxy first team. He plays at Farley Dickinson, which is a college in New Jersey, a private college in New Jersey. And they are in the Northeast Conference. So fun fact, Rob, and I thought this was kind of interesting. So he is from San Andreu de Llavaneras, which is just outside Barcelona, next to Mataró, where Lamine Yamal is from. He's played in La Masia, so he's played in multiple youth teams in Spain, but he had a brief stint at La Masia in Barcelona, then moved to the S and played collegiate ball at West Virginia Tech, Central Connecticut State, and Farley Dickinson. 11 goals, 3 assists last year, named the 2025 Northeast Conference Player of the Year. So interesting. I think I don't know the extent. I don't know if the extent of the training is, what kind of pathway that is to the first team. But look, get these young guys in here, show them what they've got. And if he deserves to be either on VCFC or break through to the first team, whatever that talent level is, I think there's never a shortage of talent. We always have to be surveyors and purveyors of talent. And I'm hoping that, this is a good opportunity for these young guys to break through. So it's a pathway.
I'm sure we'll see some of these guys at the CVI. Shameless plug. Hopefully we'll see y'all out there. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I mean, it's always interesting to see that Dylan's talking about that Pep Guardiola system, NYCFC, all these teams playing the same way. Same thing with all these Barcelona teams, man. They all play the same way from the minute they're in the academy at like 8 years old to the moment they get up to the first team. Like it's the same philosophy all the way through. So hopefully these guys show something and then they can contribute something to the team. It would be great if they just unearthed a talent out of nowhere. It's been known to happen, and hopefully it happens again. That would be so money for the Galaxy. So anyway, one of the things that Greg Vanney has talked about that he enjoys doing, Ananda, is moving young talent through and developing young talent. He actually called it the dessert part of the job. Defender Enrique Martinez has signed a professional contract with the VCFC. If you remember, Enrique Martinez was part of the USA's FIFA U17 World Cup roster. Congratulations to him, and hopefully he continues his development. I know that the Galaxy has a couple center backs in the pipeline right now. I mean, Pepe Magana is one of them. So yeah, just watch out for Enrique Martinez, man. Definitely want to watch. Something to watch as well, Ananda. This one, interesting here for
that Boyd Nice. Shout out Brian.
A case of the ex-Galaxy player Tyler Boyd signs with LAFC. LAFC picked him up off waivers after he was let go by Nashville. Boyd signs with LAFC for 2026 with an option for 2027 after spending the last 2 seasons with the Nashville. And now he will be playing for the black and gold side of Los Angeles. If you remember, Boyd scored a couple of bangers for the Galaxy against LAFC. So
right,
it'll be interesting to see how he is received by the Galaxy faithful. But a real quick question for you, Dylan. Would you have liked to see the Galaxy bring back Tyler Boyd as potential backup for JP or Gabriel Peck?
Yeah, winger depth was needed all of last season. I think that a couple of guys had to make do, right? We had Cuevas and Miller play up there at portions of the season, and having a veteran at Boyd's level would have been awesome. I don't know exactly the contract with Boyd and what he went to LAFC for. They clearly have a little more money to work with. So I think that's ultimately why he didn't get his homecoming. But ACL injury coming back, I'm not too sad about this in general. I just think that with the current structure of the Galaxy, like if the Galaxy are going to be a championship level team, Gabriel Peck and Painstill are going to have to play a lot of minutes, if not all the minutes. And so a guy like Boyd, he probably wanted more minutes, and he feels he can get that at LAFC a little more. So sad, but not too disappointed at the end of the day.
Man, Ananda, you know that this bums me out, man. You know that Tyler Boyd was one of my favorite interviews. Always so happy and positive and giving it up to the Lord. So anyway, Tyler Boyd back in Los Angeles. Good luck to him. Just not against the Galaxy. And Cool Will 20. What up, Papa? I know you were out there and you hit us up with the super chat, and it is time to get to that. You're asking, what is your reaction to Miguel Berry's transfer to the USL with Charleston Battery? Well, Miguel Berry, he signed for the 2026 season in the USL with the Charleston Battery. Remember, y'all, he was already in USL at one point, a couple of loan stints with the Loyal, but now he's making his way back to the USL, probably in search of just what we were talking about, more game time. So what my reaction is, good for him. He's, like I said, he's probably looking for more game time. He knows that he probably won't get a lot of minutes if he stays in MLS. So he's probably going down a level to try to get more minutes, secure a contract. Good for him, man. Once a G, always a G. Pleasure to talk to in the dressing room. Always a great interview, always positive. And good luck to him.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, if it wasn't for Miguel Berry, guys, we would not have that unbeaten streak in 2024 at home. He scored the game-tying goal against RSL to keep that streak alive. So
Didn't he score a couple game-tying goals, like 2 or 3?
Yeah.
that was the most memorable one though, for sure. That was like I don't know what minute, but it was pretty late on, and
late.
again it kept our streak alive. So shout out San Miguelito, always a G. Once a G, always a G. So there you go.
Thoughts on this one, Dylan?
I'm a big fan of him. I just think that he's a great pro and a great locker room guy. We talk about glue guys in a lot of other sports. I think that gets underrated in MLS. And he's just one of those guys where I'm like, you just get it. And for the Spanish-speaking guys that have come into the team, I think they're always mentioned, or Barry's always mentioned when they talk about their integration into the squad and how they kind of use him as a translator at some points. And I just think that he's a great pro, and he gives you meaningful minutes. And like you said, in a late game that a record needed to be held, Miguel Berry stepped up to the plate and hit a home run. And that's beautiful. So good for him.
Part of that championship winning team, man. No one can take that away from him.
Nope.
And not part of a championship winning team. And we barely had a chance to know him, but it has been reported by Danish outlet Bold that Matheus Zanka Jorgensen and the LA Galaxy have terminated his contract by mutual consent 1 year after he joined the Galaxy. Mind, this is a report out of Denmark. This hasn't been officially announced by the Galaxy, but the 35-year-old center back played 25 games for the Galaxy, including 16 starts in the league. Dylan, was the writing on the wall for Zanka after the Haak and Glesnes signings? Were you kind of surprised it was Zanka and not Yoshida, or was this a necessary move?
No, this was always going to be Zanka. If you had the choice of picking one and Yoshida didn't take the I'm going to go home route, this was always the right decision. Zanka was awful. And for somebody that has had plenty of experience in Europe and also on turf, like, I was expecting a lot more than what I got. And that was really disappointing. I don't think it had to do with the overall structure. I just think that he was a really poor defender. At this point in his career, I just don't think that either he cared enough or was up to it physically to be in this league. And this league is very physically taxing. It takes a lot out of players. I think it's the one thing that they underestimate coming from Europe, the travel and the demand through a grueling summer stretch. It's not easy for everyone. And I think Zanka thought he could come here, chill in LA, be that second or third center back, and I think he was in for a rude awakening. And for him to mutually agree to be like, you know what, I'm going to wipe my hands clean of this and move on, I think that tells you all you need to know about the situation.
Yeah, it's crazy because, we looked at NYCFC fans when Justin Haak was signed, and all of them were hurt and, cursing that front office for letting him go. On the other hand, when Zanka was brought in, Anderlecht fans were like, oh, what did you do? Like, what? I mean, good riddance, good job for taking him. Like, and I think, no shade to him, because again, like, super nice to get to talk to and everything like that. But I think that tells us everything we need to know about the situation too. Adam, what up, Papa? The homie Adam hitting us up with a couple of super chats. Thank you so very much. He says, "Is it only me, or are others waiting more signings?"
No, me too. You three, us four.
No, I mean, we're definitely waiting on more. We're waiting on a couple more. I mean, the homies out there have put up a couple rumors here. That we have talked about it in the past. So anyway, yeah, we're definitely waiting on more. Getting here to a second super chat by the homie Adam. It says, "I know it might only be me not having confidence in Mitrovic for all season, but can I get your thoughts on the goalkeeper?" Let's get this one to Dylan.
Yeah,
he's expensive, man. And that's my only concern, is when you allocate as much money as you do to a goalkeeper, and like we got rid of John McCarthy, you just don't get wiggle room in other areas. That's my biggest concern. I think that he's young and he has room for improvement. I think that with the possession-based ball that Vanney wants to play, that can be utilized a little more this year. I think that we were so crap, for a lack of better terms, of building out of the back that it led to him just having to play kickball and hoofball, and that's just not his game. That SDFC game also probably took a toll mentally on him with the bad pass out of the back, but that was the one thing he was touted for, was like, he's a ball-playing goalie. We can get him with the ball at his feet, and he can do things with it. So the best version of him is probably that version. We just need to see that consistently this season, and I think his shot stopping is all right. He's kind of lanky, FIFA-esque goalkeeper, but for the money, that's my only concern. Like, could you move off him and pull in a guy like a John McCarthy, or just let JT get minutes this season where you're spending a lot less and you can get someone else to fill a bigger hole? Would be my concern.
Would you be okay with selling him and keeping Marcinkowski?
Yeah, I thought JT was really good. You're talking about a pro in this league that's done it for a long time. And at SJ, there were a lot of seasons where you were like, wow, that is the worst defense I have ever seen. But this guy's standing on his head. I just don't know where he's at physically. Obviously, this was his first full season back, and I think he only had like 3 caps. So hard to really tell with him, but I think that he's a goalkeeper that can do that. I also think that you can just go get another MLS proven guy in the league and just kind of run the table. Like, John McCarthy was there for the taking. We got him. I think there's another guy probably out there. Will Kuntz should know that. So,
oh yeah, definitely. And there's already been a couple of keepers linked with the Galaxy in this offseason. So,
yeah,
but
one that went to Inter Miami, unfortunately.
Yeah,
the one. That was the one.
That would have been a biggie. Can you imagine?
That would have been that would have been a statement. Like, and this is the thing that we talk about. I mean, Inter Miami is making a statement. They're just saying, you know what, guys, like, we're going to leave everyone in their tracks, and we are going to compete on all fronts this season. And that's,
I'm not even hating.
I'm not hating either. Exactly. It's like, if I wanted to hate, I would just sound salty at that point, right? Because, and by the way, guys, this is what we felt as Galaxy fans like a decade ago. Like, remember when we always kept saying, and we talked about this with Will when we had him on, Will Kuntz, that, you know, everyone, like, we were the brunt, or we were sort of the source of all the hate from every other MLS fan. And it's true. It was like we were the Yankees of MLS, right? Like, everyone hates Galaxy because we just did whatever we wanted and we got whoever we wanted. And this is now Inter Miami now making that bold statement, and hell, are they making it?
Yeah, they definitely are. It's crazy how a lot of players are like, you know what, I'll take a little less money, or you know what, I'll go to Inter Miami over this team, you know, so I have a chance to play with Messi. Crazy, man. It's crazy. It's obviously it's
great recruiting strategy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it definitely is a great recruiting strategy. Homie Adam hits us up with a couple more super chats. I actually don't know this one. Adam, did Santi Rodriguez sign with the team yet? Do either of y'all know?
No,
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure.
Was he at Botafogo last?
Yeah, he was at Botafogo.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's moved from there.
Yeah, chat. If any of y'all know, go ahead and let us know. Keep us in the know. And you know, hopefully you guys can hook us up with an answer for Adam here. He also asks, and thank you for the super chat here. By the way, how long is Mitrović's current contract? Ananda, will you be able to fact check that up?
I'm going to fact check it right now.
Yeah, well,
I could be wrong
we'll
about this because, you know, MLS tends to not give like accurate data online anyways. So
no, not the most up to date. To be honest, but let's kick it back here to the other big rumor or piece of news that dropped in Galaxylandia. You know, just like we mentioned with Zanka, how it's the biggest secret that hasn't been announced yet. Matheus Nascimento, it seems like, will be returning on loan to the Galaxy. My source at the club said that it seems to be trending that way, but final paperwork has not been signed yet. So it's maybe that means that everything is you know, positive, but this one also does not seem like it is 100% all the way done, or at least not ready to announce. And this is as of a couple of days ago. So as of 2 days ago, that was the news from a source here. So and another couple things to talk about here, guys, with this impending loan move of Nascimento coming back, is that there's rumors of it only being for 6 months, that he has a contract with Botafogo until December, and then the loan goes until June. There's rumors of a purchase clause if Nascimento plays in 50% of games. First I heard it was in 50% of games by Christmas, and then I heard it was in general all year. Of course, that purchase clause kicks in for Nascimento, and that means the Galaxy would have to buy his contract out, valued at $6 million. Of course, remember, he played 28 matches last year, scored 6 goals, and provided 4 assists. Dylan, I believe you said promising when I asked you about Nascimento. Is that the one word you used?
Yeah, so, promising. Yeah. I think he's great. This is such a win-win move. It's a win-win move for everyone involved. Do you want to finish your question? Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No. It's all good. Go ahead. You're expressing your thoughts on this young man, Nasci.
Yeah. We're talking about a guy that played his first real season of professional football with the Galaxy and linked up with one of the best players. But contract-wise speaking, and I'll preface this with, it's not my money, so I don't care. Right? At the end of the day, if you got to spend $6 million, it's not coming out of my bank account. So I'm obviously biased in that regard. But the kid's got real talent. I think that with this potential 6-month lever, or if it's just like the 50% played, if he overperforms, you sign the deal. Or because Botafogo is in an awful spot in terms of finances and them having a bunch of restrictions, you can always play hardball at the end of the day and be like, we're just not going to pay you. I watch Barcelona do this all the time on the opposite side of it, where they're just like, hey, you know what? We just can't pay this loan thing. I think we're just going to keep doing the loan thing, if you don't mind. So I think you can just play hardball a little bit, but for the player's perspective, he immediately is the Galaxy's starting 9, and I think he fits in with Royce and Peck and Paintsel, and he's proven that he can do it. Now, injury-wise and the health concerns, I can totally understand all that. He hasn't been completely a clean bill of health. But I think if he can be healthy and he can be your starting 9, having a U22 player under contract for as long as he will be on that contract is literally the Dejan Joveljic mold. Like, you've got a bona fide stud at the 9 for a very long time that can contribute for a long time on one of the best mechanisms that you currently have to your ability. And you can go and spend the DP money somewhere else. And so for the Galaxy's perspective, with Riqui being out, if you can now allocate that money to a 10 or to a box-to-box player, that makes a lot more sense than spending it on a 9 at this current junction.
I don't disagree. I mean, I know that Greg has called out for a new 9, and he wasn't happy with his attacking options last year. So it might be hard for him to take more than most that he will probably not get that 9.
That's the funny part in all this. That's like the interesting part. That's like the wrinkle. That's like the elephant in the room on this one. And I know we heard it like in the press room together, Rob, like straight from the horse's mouth, right? So that's the only interesting thing for me. But I think Greg's got to, and this goes back to Dylan's point, which I 100% agree with earlier, with the point that he made, which is this is now a test of Greg's mettle. This is a test of how good he is as a coach. This is a test of how he can put Nascimento in the right positions. Because, Rob, we saw in the last game of the season, I don't know if you guys remember, that first goal, last game at home, I think it was Cuevas cross from the right. Nasci, beautiful technique, get his right foot over it, and he's banging the goal inside of the net. Like, those are those positions. That's the technique. That's the level of quality that he has. And so, look, the proof's going to be in the pudding in his second year. And if you want to follow the trajectory of Dejan Joveljic, he's got to meet his numbers. Dejan Joveljic in 2022, in 32 starts or 32 matches played, scored 11 goals. That's the type of production that you have to see out of Nascimento for you to see that trajectory. But look, he's got a really good support system. He's playing with the Brazilian player alongside Gabriel Peck. He's got Juninho in the training room. I think he's got all the tools, and now he's just got to perform. But again, the proof's going to be in the pudding, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what he does in year 2. We have another super chat from our brother GCam.
Hey, yo.
Gracias, nuestro hermano GCam. He says, "Tú y yo."
That was a duet there, guys.
Yeah, that's a shot for you and
Should have
Arnau.
harmonized, but it is what it is.
Well, I didn't know you were going to join me on that one.
I know.
We're gonna have to work on that harmony, man.
I'll take the baritone next time.
I mean, and then I was expecting to hear Dylan with the falsetto over the top.
You know what the issue is, and I don't know if you've noticed yet. My Spanish is about this much. I unfortunately get as white as Wonder Bread when it comes to anything that's not English, and that's an unfortunate part of my. I call it my disability in terms of my my podcasting hosting ability, because every time I have a word like that comes up, I have to default to Andrew. And Andrew always helps.
We will teach you, man. No worries. You're honorary Brown today.
I will take it. I'm happy to be just the honorary here today.
What's it called? Ananda, you had kind of been bugging me with this for the past couple of weeks.
There's a damn good reason too.
You want this one to happen so bad. I mean,
even though
probably have already mentioned it on this podcast, but in the hunt for a new DP, and with Riqui being out and us not knowing anything, that just breeds speculation. So my good friend Ananda has been on the Weston McKennie back to MLS, and then I guess as the Galaxy's new DP. I mean, I'm not so high on this one, but run with it, Ananda.
Oh, you want me to run with it? Okay. So really quick, let's start with the rumor. So this was last week. Ben Jacobs of CBS Sports, I believe, broke this. So exclusive, Weston McKennie has received initial approaches from 2 Premier League clubs, also interest from Atletico Madrid and within Italy. 27-year Juventus midfielder is, of course, out of contract, which is why out of contract at the end of this season. So he's got 6 months left in the contract before the World Cup, in a World Cup year, right? Juventus have a £10 million valuation, which is about $13.5 million. And then he says, understand a move to Besiktas is not currently in the cards. Look, Rob, if you need a dynamic, marauding new midfield general and emotional leader, this is your guy. Like, let's take all the technical, tactical things out of this. Simply put, Weston McKennie is a stud. He is clearly already one of the leaders in the USMNT camp. This is a World Cup year. He has so many things that he needs to prove, both personally and for his national team. And look, what a great deal to be in the country that's going to host the World Cup and basically train here. So you're basically going to train with the Galaxy at Dignity Health Sports Park. And guess what? You're going to train with the U.S. men's national team in Los Angeles as well. I mean, you can't, from a lifestyle perspective too, you can't get any better than that, right? So, but look, we can talk about all the tactical things, but one of the biggest things that we're missing in Riqui Puig, Papa, is he is an emotional leader on the pitch. He's a midfield general. He is the straw that serves a drink. Like, that's what Matt Pollard always says, right? Like, he is the straw that serves a drink. And I feel like Weston McKennie is that type of dynamic. I called it heliocentric last time, where everything revolves around this person. That's Wes, man. That's Wes. Like, on the pitch, off the pitch, he just ticks all the boxes for me. Full stop.
I'm not sold personally. I don't see him as a true 10. I see him more as that box. And I think the Galaxy need a true 10 to kind of take over that offensive load. But I mean, I could be wrong. Dylan, thoughts on this Weston McKennie thing? Potentially fulfilling Ananda's wildest dreams and becoming the Galaxy's newest DP?
I'm right there with him. Wildest dreams. I don't think it happens just because I think that he wants to stay in Europe. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. But if we got him, man, I think he is the most misunderstood U.S. midfielder maybe ever. I just think that I'm going to bring up the talent here because I think that he can do pretty much anything on a footballing pitch. Like, you can ask him to do any role and he'll do it to a very, very high level. He's a master of none, but just has all the skill sets that you could want. And to your point, this is a superstar. He'd come in and be that next great LA Galaxy superstar. I'd be there. I don't have a name on the back of this jersey, I'd immediately be at the team store and I'd go and put his number and his
I
name
agree.
like
I agree.
that.
Think about what it mean. Well, think about what it mean from a marketability's perspective, Rob. Like, you know, Kevin Baxter the other day reported that Galaxy attendance was down 17%. You sign Weston McKennie, that number goes through the roof. I'm telling you, especially in this country.
I don't know, not sold, boys. But again, yeah, I mean, I'm not Will Kuntz.
Don't tell me you're signing Gio Reyna over him. Don't tell me you're signing Gio Reyna.
Of course not, man. Yeah. I'm just saying that they need a true 10. They need somebody like they're never going to be able to replicate Ricky's skill set, but they need somebody.
Not. Unless you're signing Bedity, you're not. Yeah,
but you need somebody that takes a lot of that skill set and play to the Galaxy's strength.
But do you though? Do you? That's okay. We're gonna have that conversation later because I think the Dylan's video and his thought process around this. I think we have to. I think one of the things that I would love to have a conversation about at some point is I think we have to reframe what we think of the LA Galaxy. The LA Galaxy with Riqui Puig is not going to be the same team without Riqui Puig, and we have to change the way we play.
Save it.
We have to change the way we play. Yeah,
we'll get there. No patience. Tell us about James here.
I'll tell you about James. So
this is put butts in seats.
This is not my choice. This is not my personal choice either. But you know, there are rumors out there per various outlets that he is, you know, the MLS is one of his options. He's looking, for example, Austin FC is really, really interested in him. He's also got other offers from Argentina, Colombia, and even other MLS clubs. But again, I think this is just to kind of like show the difference in what the options are and maybe what the Galaxy front office are looking at. I mean, what do you do with this spot, right? With Riqui, like, do you go with a more seasoned guy like James Rodriguez, who's had a storied career, both, you know, on the national team as well as in Europe? Or do you go with a guy like Weston, or do you even go like even younger than that? Do you go with an up and coming Brazilian, Argentinian, Uruguayan, insert South American country here, starlet, right? Like what do you do in that position? I think I've made my position pretty clear. I think you go younger, but what do you think, Dylan? Like, what should the Galaxy do in this spot? What's the profile that you should look at? And has your opinion changed over time after you slept on it a little bit more?
Wait, before you answer. Yeah, yes or no? Would you take James on a 12-year deal to play the 10?
No.
Good lad.
Gosh,
good lad.
I'm tough on that because I think
baseball contract.
You have to have a direction. I think you either have to stick with the idea that it's a very much a loan player, like you're getting a 1-year contract and we're going to get back to Riqui Puig, or you set yourself up for the future and you totally pivot, which I think that's where I'm leaning towards is pivot. But James in general is not a player that you bring in and you don't build a squad around. And I just don't think that he mixes well with any of the players that we have. I don't see it with James. I just don't think he works very hard. And I'm not here to see him not work very hard. Yeah.
The brother G Cam says he's 1 million years old. I think he's 35, but I get your point. I actually had the discussion with the Galaxy fan on Twitter, and you know, my biggest thing is that he doesn't have the work rate. Like, he doesn't put in any defensive work. Riqui did, to his credit. There was a couple of different times when I remember when in 2024 when I would be like, "Whoo, look at this boy out tracking all the way back," and that was one of the greatest things because he was putting in the work for the team, and I just don't see that from James. So, yes, definitely, hopefully, keep him away from the Galaxy. But what do you think, Dylan?
For James in particular, like for a team like Leon to just be like, nah, like we don't want you anymore. Like, you came to us on a free and we're totally fine with you going somewhere else and not paying you any money in a league that totally lets you spend money like it's nothing. Yeah, that says it all. And for a team like Austin, who might be a little more desperate for a player like that, go for it. Go and get your butts in seats in a market that makes a lot more sense for that. I don't need to see him share, like he would be a player that would share minutes with Marco Reus, not a player that owns the spot that Marco Reus plays in. That's totally concerning to me. I don't need that anywhere near my team.
And to bring back up Ananda's a question, do you have perhaps an ideal candidate that if you all of a sudden got a phone call from Will Kuntz and he was like, you know what, Dylan, what would you do? Who would be your ideal candidate to replace Riqui Puig? What are you doing with this DP spot, man?
I said it in one of my standalone videos, but I'm very. I know you made it sound like you aren't on the idea of Gio Reyna, but I think that this is a player that is not making it over in Europe, a guy who can't stay healthy over in Europe and isn't getting game time at his second straight club that should be giving him game time. But the one thing that this guy has more than any other player that is being talked about is talent, and he proves it every time he puts on a U.S. kit. He's a superstar in that right. His father is a U.S. superstar, and I think that he's made for that LA Galaxy spotlight. It's just up to him if he's ready to hang up his chances in Europe, which if you're not making it at, I can't remember the club's name, Gladbach, yeah, then you're probably not making it in Europe, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I'm ready for him to come back and be the star of the MLS, because when we talk about MLS and we talk about US superstars, I can't really count that many on my hand that I really want to put a staple on. But when you bring in a guy like Gio Reyna, the talent is there for you to be like, this is the top 5 talent in the league. Now, will he live up to the talent? I'm not so sure. But I think that he can. And in terms of risk factor, if you can get it on a loan from Gladbach, very similar to the way that San Diego did with De La Torre, that's the perfect scenario. You get Gio Reyna playing minutes before World Cup, where Poch and all the team there can be like, yes, finally, the thing that we've been asking for, you're doing. He can go into a World Cup, be a superstar, come back and be a superstar. And then you can assess the options there. And whether that's he plays phenomenal and you see off Peck or Paintsel, and then he ends up being like a right 10 or a right winger, because he can do that as well. Perfect. And if not, you send him back. And I think there's just a world where you can do that. Whereas I don't know many other players where I can be like, this guy is available and we can go get him. I assume that Gio Reyna, if you were to call them, they would play ball.
Interesting. I mean, I'm not like opposed. But one of the things that we've talked about a lot on this podcast, and something that Will and Greg have even brought up, is that the best stability is availability. And the man gets injured. I mean, he undoubtedly has talent. When he's on the field, he produces, but he's got to be on the field.
No,
and
that's fair.
He gets hurt. But I wouldn't be opposed to it if he came. Between him and Royce, maybe they'll put in all 34 games. Who knows?
There is that connection there too, right? Like he's played with Royce. He knows that player very well. I think that you can. I'm just hoping that he can be healthy. I really like Gio Reyna. I think that he's just had this like cloud of negativity around him because he's just been in the media and the circus that lies there when it comes to a lot of the US stuff. But I'm just a fan of his talent. And I think that at the end of the day, in this league in particular, talent tends to rise to the top as well as work rate. But I think he can give you that. I just don't, like you said, that's the biggest concern. And the only one that I'm left with is, can he stay healthy? Not sure.
Well, let's talk about the Galaxy in training camp now. Obviously, we've already seen pictures of the Galaxy at training camp. We saw them with their medicals. We saw them on the beach in their Top Gun moment as well. Dylan, which other Galaxy player are you most excited to see this year?
This year in general, I think it's Haak. And I just think that for him, he was one of the biggest free agents in the class this season. And the fact that we got him, I didn't know we were players in that race. So for us to get a talented player like this, who it sounds like will be here long term, like that's the whole contract setup, is like, we're giving you this short deal, you'll take a discount this year and you'll be here for a long time. For a player in that position to become your anchor, potentially next to Garces or to be next to Glesnes for a while, I'm stoked on him as a whole. I guess the second player that I'm interested to see in his mold in this team, and maybe the next iteration of it is Sanabria. But my camera just died, so I'm gonna swap my batteries while you guys take it back over real quick.
Oh, good.
Yeah, do your thing.
Rob, who are you excited to see? We never even talked about this, even offline.
Oh man, to be honest, like I'm excited to see Harbor and his continued development. Because we heard from Greg that he's going to get a lot more time this year, that he deserves it, and just the youthful exuberance. It's funny because he's young, but he also gets so much playing for the badge. Just really respects the team and the institution, and like talks like he's been a pro for 40 years. So yeah, I'm really excited to see him. What about you, man?
Yeah, a good shout right here. If he comes back by eSuper, Nasci for me, that dude has got to work this year. I agree. A couple names, Rob, I'm really interested in, and we've talked about these lads a few times, but first one is Julian Aude. Rob, this is year 3 for him. This is a big year. U22 signing, a lot of money and time and everything invested in him. He's got a lot of upside, but I just hope, again, we're going to get into this conversation, but I just hope Greg puts him in positions to succeed and we really exploit his attacking talents. I remember the first season in particular, when he is going up and down that left wing, he is a handful. Very good long stride, really good on the dribble. He gets past people rather easily as a left back, and we have to exploit that talent. The second one for me, Papa, Lucas Sanabria. Again, I think it was a stop-start season for him last year. Broken, shoulder or collarbone or whatever it was in game 2 in Vancouver. I think that really, really put a stunt to his growth. We saw flashes of it sort of in the middle parts of the season, but I think we've got to expect big things from him. I'm hoping that a year here he's adapted and, coming from Uruguay, young lad, probably has no family here. It's tough. Like, it's tough for a lot of these guys, right? So I'm hoping that adaptation process, like a full off season with the Galaxy, with the lads, like I hope that he really beds himself in and makes himself sort of feel more confident in his ability and what Greg is asking him to do. And again, he's had a year now under Greg, and I'm sure now he's sort of understanding where to pick his spots, when to move up, when to stay back in that double pivot. And I'm excited to see his progression. Like those are I think those are keys for how the Galaxy are going to start this year, in my opinion.
Well, you just brought up a double pivot, which is a key hallmark of a typical Greg Vanney side. However, our guest tonight argues in his recent video that the Galaxy should change their play style in 2026. Dylan, like I mentioned, you recently dropped a video on COC Network highlighting how the Galaxy need to change their tactics in 2026. By the way, y'all, we'll drop the link for that video in the description here. Why do you believe that this is the case, and why do you think it'll lead to more success in 2026? And then follow up to that, drop us all your socials, because the folk should know where to find you.
Yeah, I'll start with that. COC Network is pretty much where you can find us on everything. I don't think there's a lot of COC networks. I think that we made that as a 14-year-old kind of joke, and it's stuck, and we're keeping it that way. So COC Network, you can find us on all that. That new video I dropped, that's a totally new style for me. I tend to not do things like that, but giving it a go. And the basic idea is out of possession, you're playing in a very simple structure, which is the 4-4-2. It's made a resurgence back in the European game. A lot of the principles are based off of Pep Guardiola and a lot of the things that he likes to implement, which is he plays a 3-2-5 structure, and out of possession, you really compress the pitch in a way that the Galaxy didn't do a lot last season. And I thought that they were caught between two minds a lot of the time, which was leading to just these crazy gaps in possession and out of possession where teams would just hit us straight through the middle in transition, and we'd lose games that way. And there wasn't any set defensive structure. It felt like we were searching for answers on offense too much rather than just being a good defensive team. And overall, through Greg Vanney's tenure, I think that's been the case too often for me, where we're not good enough defensively, and that hurts us going forward. And so what I'd like to see is a 4-4-2 out of possession where Haak jumps into the midfield. He becomes a defensive combative 6, but allows you to drop into a 3-back in possession where you can use his deep lying playmaking on that left side. And then you've got your pace and recovery with Garces, and you've got your destroyer center back with Glesnes. And then you utilize, which I think is if it's not the best position group in all of the league, it's one of, and that's our wingbacks and our fullbacks. Mickey Yamane, Cuevas, Nelson, and Aude all provide you with some of the most utilized depth and different play styles that you can see in this league. I mean, Yamane can tuck in and be a midfielder, or he can be on the wing. Cuevas is a top expected assist leader in the entire league per 90. And then on the other side, you've got the exact mold of player that you want, which is Nelson to be a third-sided center back, and Aude, like you were talking about, in terms of a big year, the guy that we've been waiting for this breakout to be a actual wing back in the system for the first time ever, could be really, really beneficial for him playing up close to Joseph Paintsel. So I'm excited.
Y'all, go ahead and check out this man's video. I had been kind of advocating for, this version of a 3-back, but it seems like, just like we saw with Gaffer Michael Carrick, it doesn't really matter on what you call it in principle. Like it's got to be fluid, right?
Yep.
And the whole team needs to play for each other. And you brought up pressing. I definitely think that's gonna be something that we see a lot more of a Galaxy team this year.
Yeah. Well, and it's not only just like tactics or formation. I think Dylan though brings up a really good point about the 3-2-5. Rob, we talked about this a lot last year, or 2024, with that box midfield, right? That's how Greg liked to play. But I think more so than tactics and putting personnel in the right position is important. But I think it's how we play. Like, remember, guys, without Riqui Puig, like he was a cheat code. He would literally pick up the ball in our own defensive half, and he can wriggle through 3 or 4 guys down the middle, right? Like, and we're in the attacking position. Without Riqui Puig, we saw last year what it looked like. It was, the buildup was slow. It was labored. It was framed as methodical, but it was never incisive. Like, we didn't have a box formation. We had a horseshoe formation, which is sideways and backwards, ring around the rosy and going around in a circle of a horseshoe, but we never actually attacked the net.
The horseshoe.
So Rob, you think about a guy like Justin Haak. He has a keen eye for a pass. As soon as he wins the ball back, he looks up and he looks for that vertical pass. So I think one of the things without Riqui Puig that we have to do this season is play to our strengths, which is we were one of the top transition teams in 2024. We were the most dangerous in semi-transition and transition, hitting those wingers in stride. So all they had to do was take one touch, bang, back of the net, or shot on goal leads to a corner, right? And so, and I think, Dylan, you talked about this in your video too, which is like our wingers played a lot of tracking back last year. They had to track back so much and expend so much energy that when they got to the final third, they were already huffing and puffing, on top of being so, lacking in confidence. And you saw JP was a huge example of that, just missing sitters and not looking like his former self. So the question is, like, how do we get our wingers and our finishers in those finishing positions? Like Greg said to us in CVI last year, Rob, get those wingers off the touchline, bring them inside so that they can get on their strong foot and take a clean shot on goal. And players like Justin Haak, ball progressors like that, are going to help this team a lot. So it's not about the personnel or the tactics. It's about playing more vertically, playing more direct, and, moving the ball with intensity. Because last year it was just way too labored. And unfortunately, we just got used to playing with a cheat code, and then we didn't have the cheat code last year, and look what happened. So there you go.
I, for one, cannot wait till Justin Haak subs out from the back line, intercepts a pass, sees Joseph Paintsel streaking down the left wing, and hits a money pass that splits the lines. Exactly. I am looking so forward to that. Ananda, you said something interesting. You said something to the effect of, the players still have to be in the right positions. Well, who's the guy that puts them there? Greg Vanney. Who's the guy that brings the players that Greg will put in position? Will Kuntz, who we've all talked about tonight and we're all big fans of. But Dylan, for you, who's under more pressure at the moment? Is it Greg Vanney knowing he doesn't have his number 10 for another year, or is it Will Kuntz who knows that he has to go out and replace that fulcrum or that talisman?
It's Greg Vanney for me. Will Kuntz can only do his job knowing the extent of injuries, right? And that was, he knew that Riqui was good to go until December 29th from our understanding. And then now he's had to shuffle and figure out this DP spot. So for me, he did his job. He got you players that can be flexible and change your formation. And barring Riqui Puig just not even coming back and being the same player, if he had been at 80% or 90% this season, Greg Vanney was going to have to change tactically. And I'm sorry, that record at the beginning of the season in any other league in the world gets you sacked. It gets you sacked. And I think our co-host Mila for that entire stretch was like, how has it not happened yet? Like, how hasn't he been sacked? And so for me, the red dot's on him because you have to figure out how to work with the parts that you've got. Because personally, I think that it's more than capable of being a playoff team. That's my expectation going into this season. You've got two of the best center backs in the league. You've got one of the newcomers of the year, along with one of the best DP signings of the last decade. And you have Marco Reus. If you can't make that work with also another great six in Edwin Cerrillo, I'm just sorry. What is Will supposed to do? Like, you have a championship level squad with Riqui Puig there, or without him, you should at least be a playoff team every single year. And that level of inconsistency for me comes down to one person, and it comes down to Greg Vanney. So he's under the microscope for me.
He follow along with me here on a hypothetical. The team brings in a number 10, doesn't bet into the team tremendously quickly. The team gets off to a rough start, drops 3 in the first 5. What do you think? Does he get much more time after that?
No. And he shouldn't, because this job becomes the most sought after position in all of the league. This is the cream of the crop. Like, even Inter Miami already had coaches lined up because it's Inter Miami and they were just going to bring in Messi's pals. You know what I mean? But even a team like LAFC, they just promoted from within because they didn't feel they could go get someone. But I can tell you, I know a manager that's sitting at home right now that has MLS pedigree that if he's sitting around still by that time and Greg Vanney doesn't do well.
You mean Caleb Porter?
No, God, no, I mean anything but that. I'd much rather just that hypothetical. If he's the only person sticking around, then I'm good. I'll stick with Greg Vanney. But no, I'm talking about the guy that got sacked by Celtic. If he's still sticking around and Greg Vanney is not proving he can do it, I can tell you a guy that can make it work with a bunch of spare toys, if you know what I mean. Like, he made Columbus a powerhouse for year over year, and I think it just got stale for him, where he felt he wasn't getting the firepower, and that's why he went to Celtic. That's not an issue here in LA. You get the firepower most years, so I think there's a serious pressure on him to perform, and if he doesn't, then at some point you got to move off. You can't let any one person within your organization own your team. And Greg Vanney shouldn't own this team just because he raised the floor, which was so far low when he first got hired. Like, you can't let him own you. No player, no owner, no management, no front office staff, and no coach should own your club. I'm very supportive on that idea.
Preach. At the same time, good luck, Greg. I hope you're a success this year because good guy, Dylan. We've had the pleasure of talking to him and stuff like that. So
I'd much rather him be successful. Sorry, I went on that soliloquy, make it sound like I don't like the guy. I want him to be successful, and I think that he's a very good manager.
No, you're right. You're right. He should be held accountable. And you're absolutely right. Like, we're very surprised that it didn't happen last year either. It is what it is. He's the coach this year, so Galaxy fan. I've said this a bunch of times. He's a coach this year for right now, so the Galaxy fans need to get behind him. More more power to him and good luck to him. Gentlemen, we're going to wrap up the show here today by getting some receipts here from you. Some yes or no answers, right?
All right.
First one. Will the Galaxy challenge for a trophy of any kind?
Yes, because we're going to get a star DP. He's going to play in the 10, and we're going to get our championship ceiling back.
All right.
I don't know which one, though. Sorry. To answer that question, I have no idea.
Will they make the playoffs?
Yes.
What seed will they finish in the West?
4th.
They make the playoffs. How far do they go?
Conference finals. They get knocked out because they're not playing at home.
Interesting.
You gotta take those home points, y'all. Come on. No, I like it. I like it. If I don't think though I ever got a clear answer for you. If you were Galaxy GM, who would be that star number 10 that you would bring in? Money is no object here. Go crazy.
Money is no object. I think it's Gio Reyna. I'm willing to take a risk in a year that I think is a gap year. And I think that the floor is playoffs regardless of the 10. So if I think the floor is regardless of the 10 and you can bring in a talent of Gio Reyna's stature, or Weston McKennie is another shout. I think that's interchangeable for me. That raises your ceiling from being playoffs to championship level ceiling. I think it happens that quickly.
Yeah,
and I also, if you want to clip me up, I think we go and get a star striker in the summer with some TAM money. I think we free up some space, whether that's Nascimento not getting a sniff and we send him back to Botafogo, or Ramirez gets moved on and you have some TAM money to work with in the summer. And that's where you can play around with the idea of a Lewandowski. I like the idea of a Danny Welbeck personally.
Ooh,
that's my
Manchester
United speaking. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy that already got his big payday from Brighton. He knows how to work with young kids, which the Galaxy have quite a few. And he could probably be looking as a, you know what, I can make, close to $1 million here for, 4 months of work after a World Cup. Yeah. Count me in. So
count me in too. He scored a banger against United the other day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Jesus.
Broke my heart.
Me too. I mean, Danny Welbeck, made in Carrington. Anyway,
music to your ears, Rob.
Yes, I love it. Well, Dylan, you're a good lad. I knew you was raised right. Anyway, the brother G Cam.
We'll talk on Monday.
Yeah, right. The brother G Cam says, and thank you for the super chat. This LCG fun fact: on Monday, January 19th, all the hosts here today had amazing mustaches. Oh, thank you. In all seriousness, Rat Show guys, top stuff. Thank you, G Cam. Ananda owes you a shot. He's pushing that. Before we go, we want to say thank you so very much to our special guest for the evening, Dylan, who you can catch on his podcast. He has shouted out a couple of the boys on the crew already, like Andrew. We know that Class Trans is in there. Also shouted out Peyton as well. So go ahead and show those boys some love and show Dylan some love as well.
And tell the folks again what days of the week and times that you guys stream, Dylan?
Yeah, so COC Network, most of our stuff isn't streamed just because it's always nice to go back and review what we talk about. But usually we have podcasts that come out for the Premier League on Monday or on Sunday of every week. And then the Galaxy show will start up soon. We're on season 2, and that'll be probably on Tuesdays of every week, if not Wednesdays.
You know where to get them, guys.
Y'all heard it here. Y'all heard it here. Well, gracias. Muchísimas gracias, Papa. That's your first lesson, which means thank you so very much. We do appreciate it, man. Guys, when I hit up Dylan, he's like, yeah, man, I may have something going on already. But let me see if if I can work around and stuff like that. So just the graciousness of giving us your time, we appreciate it. Hopefully this is the first of many that you come in and hang out. You're always welcome here, man.
Yeah, I love your guys' show. I'm super appreciative that you've had me on in terms of the Galaxy Sphere and podcast. Your guys' show is one of the ones that we look up to. So it's a blessing to be on here. I was absolutely going to make it work if I could, which I did. And I'm happy I was able to, because this was a joy. And I'm just very appreciative of the spotlight and you guys allowing me to come spew my nonsense, for lack of better terms.
Well, like I said, man, you're always welcome.
Yeah, it was fun for sure. And I'm sure, Rob throwing you a month's supply of pupusas helped with, you coming on. So I know how this works.
It did. It did.
Yeah, we had some heinous allegations thrown at all of us. They're in chat at certain points. So anyway, but Cuneros, if you're still here with us, then we should let you know that on Thursday, January 22nd, we are joined by one of our favorites, Sophie Nicolau, aka Judge Sophie, who will be here to zoom out and really kind of take like an overall macro look at the Galaxy from the top down. Last time we spoke with her, she queried, does the LA Galaxy have an identity? Well, we spoke with our guest tonight, Dylan, who say it might be time to move on from whatever identity that was. A couple years later, we talked to her again to find out what is the Galaxy's identity. And then next Monday, January 26th, we'll be joined by my colleague at the Sporting Tribune, Anthony Bautista. He'll be here to join us to look ahead to another year of covering the 6-time champs for the Tribune and what his thoughts are on the coming year. But I think that kind of wraps it up for us, guys. Ananda, anything else to add?
Just want to say, of course, thanks to Dylan, first of all, for coming on. Hope to have you on again, Papa. It was super fun. Very good to meet you as well, virtually, finally. And I can't wait to meet you in person in the stadium at some point. Yeah. And, of course, everyone in chat, thank you guys, Guneros. We missed you. I know we were out for a little while, but we are back. And we're back in the full flow of things, guys. The first closed door session, Rob, is on the 23rd, right? I was looking at that schedule. You've got media availability, and things are going to pick up really quick, guys. So stay tuned, stay locked in, sub to Dylan, sub to COC Network, do what you got to do. You know what it is. And we love y'all. Can't wait to be back. We'll do this again on Thursday.
Yeah, we love y'all for sure. This is the trail end of season 3, y'all. Any moment now, it's going to be season 4 at you. And just watch out for that, including a new banger by Arquitekto Verbal. Shout out to him. Until we meet again, I think there's just one thing left to say, right, Ananda?
Dale.
Jesus!